y'all, it's Josh from Sabukaru. I'm calling from America to my team in Tokyo. So stoked to be interviewing one of my favorite bands right now, Fontaines DC.
What are you most excited about the band? Like, what makes them so unique for you?
I think something that's really cool is that, a lot of Irish bands, when they sing, they kind of try to get rid of their accent or something like that, but they're just kind of unapologetically themselves.
How you doing?
What's good, man? If you could please just introduce yourself and what role you play in the band.
I'm Grian Chatten, and I'm in Fontaines DC, and I sing, occasionally play guitar, and do a bit of writing. And I'm in Tokyo, and I'm very happy to be here.
If I'm a new listener, how would you describe Fontaines DC, or rather the perspectives you hold in your personal approach to music?
Our music, for me anyway, seeks to explore a kind of a universal things that bind us together by examining the personal. And I think I'm probably similar to you in the sense that I'm much more interested in impressions than the explicit. I think that there's more truth often in abstraction than in explicit examination, personally anyway. And I think that's how I describe it.
Being Irish myself and growing up in Boston, the self-titled track was really interesting to dive into. Do you still feel that doom after living in London for a while? And what does your Irishness mean to you?
I definitely still feel that doom living in London, but I think having expressed what we did on that record, I don't think it's necessarily as kind of heavy or kind of weighing an issue for me as a person living in London. I also think that things have probably changed a little bit. I think that there's a real, I don't know, Irishness is really in vogue. I think in London now you have all these Londoners, sort of getting harps tattooed on their, on their hands and all, drinking a load of Guinness. And I think, as funny as that might be, it still comes. I think it still probably brings maybe, hopefully, I don't know, a lack of judgment maybe. So I think things are getting a bit better.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that title track, especially the first one, definitely means a lot. And you really, fighting for Irish people. I think it's really sick. And I wanted to move on to the next question, saying that I really respect you because you stand for what you believe in, whether it's in your lyrics, your style, or taking a stand for the silence, such as the Palestinian people. In your opinion, what role does music play in social change?
I think music has the ability to render people sensitive to other issues. I think it's an important tool to make people kind of. It's a great venue in which, or an arena in which people can relate to and empathise with each other on a level beyond, I think, even conversation. I think as a musician, it's an important thing to do, to use that arena for a cause that you believe in. I think, specifically the cause of, on behalf of the oppressed, and the Palestinian cause is something that really speaks to us as a band.
For sure, yeah, no, it's really powerful seeing Carlos at the Rolling Stone thing, saying what needed to be said. So definitely really powerful. I really appreciate how you guys take that chance, in the limelight, one of the hottest rock bands out right now, taking that attention, putting it to good use, really means a lot.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Your bandmate Connor said the main sonic theme of Fontaines DC is finding beauty in distance in a 2019 interview with South by Southwest. As a band, you've grown into your style, radiating unabashed confidence from the way you play to the way you dress. From doggerel to romance, how has the band grown and how has it stayed the same?
I think to say that we've grown is a little bit too much of a pat on the back for me to be. I think let's say we've changed. We've moved sideways maybe. I think I like to think though that we explore themes, or not even themes. I think that we do what we do a little deeper, and a little bit more kind of vastly or something. You know what I mean? I think I've become more and more interested in kind of soundscapes, and cinematic music, you know. And I don't think there's as much cinematic about our first record as there is about these. I think as people we've mostly stayed the same. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't really want for anything beyond what I already have in terms of friends and, you know, family, and I don't really seek anything else out. Like, so I don't think we've much to lose in that regard.
Definitely like appreciate the cinematic stuff. Like in the modern world, you know, it's my favorite track from Romance. It gives us a glimpse of your perspective on love. I loved like how you mentioned in a past interview, like referencing Akira and like that kind of stuff. After writing the album about romance and pondering the question of whether romance is a place, is romance a fantasy to you, or is it a place that you can reach through choice and commitment to those choices?
I think it's a fantasy, really. I mean, in terms of what it means on the record, it's definitely it's a fantastical place, you know. But I think that it's important for us as human beings to have these fantastical places that remain goals and maybe kind of draw us towards something a little bit closer to. I suppose I'm talking about a utopia. I don't like that word because I think that it's, I don't know, it's synonymous with something that's unrealistic to me, you know. I just like the idea of improving and the draw towards improvement being a fantasy, you know. Or not a fantasy, but like a, you know, something that belongs to imagination.
Yeah. And then I guess one more question. You know, you're touring the album, fourth studio album, Romance. You know, from when y'all first started till now, you know, y'all are really on track to doing something and like really changing the game, being like one of the greatest bands, you know. I just wanted to see kind of where your headspace is at and kind of how you're feeling now that you've put out this album, you're touring. What are you kind of thinking just in the present?
I'm kind of, I'm anxious to be kind of hot in the tails of our last record, because I think I'm more of a fan of our last record than of any of our other records, you know. And I kind of want to blow it out of the water like as soon as I can. And I think it's the first time really that I felt. I probably said this before, but I think it's the first time I felt somewhat intimidated by what we've just done, you know. Not just in terms, not in terms of like the quality, but in terms of the kind of like the distance between Skin Defeat and Romance. I'd love to make that kind of distance again, you know, creatively. And so, yeah, I'm just quite anxious to do that in a good way.
Like you're anxious in a sense of like the next record that you put out. It's like almost, is it that feeling of like, oh, I have to top this again? Is that kind of what you're saying? Or
100%, 100%, yeah. Because topping our last record is endlessly more meaningful than any kind of like accolade, you know, bestowed upon us by some academy, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the fans are really loving it. Like everyone that I talked to, you know, my uncle's the one that like put me on to you guys, and like you're his favorite band, you know. He's a guy that like, you know, born in the 70s and stuff like that, just growing up in the 90s, seeing all these bands that, you know, might have influence on you. It's really cool to see like how you guys have evolved, right? From that like post-punk kind of sound. I know you're trying to break out of that with Dog Grove, but to now it's like, I think it just shows the diversity of sounds that you guys have. It's really cool to see.
Sound, man, appreciate that.
You say
you've kind of, sorry,
nervous.
He's kind of gone off.
I guess we have you frozen now, but we can hear you. That's
okay.
That's our first video interview. So.
You look good though. Like you're frozen on a good frame, you know.
We're gonna have this in the interview as well.
We were talking about how, in the beginning, how, you know, it's not about genre, it's not about these titles, it's about perspective and that kind of thing. When you're talking about, you know, this future record and kind of feeling a little bit of the sweet on you, where do you want to move towards? You know, this last record about romance and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's something that's really on your mind that you want to talk about?
Well, that's the thing. I'm kind of trying to figure that out. There are plenty of things that I'd like to talk about, but it's in terms of it's important for me to kind of pick the right one, the one that's maybe says something in the context of the previous 4 records, as well as it being something that I think we could sort of flesh out into a really kind of a coherent point. You know, I'm sure I'll be guided by by the topics that concern me, as always. But I think the manner in which it's rendered, I think, is something that I kind of usually just wait out. I kind of wait for it to kind of take me by the hand and lead me there, you know. So I'm still in that room waiting for somebody to knock, you know.
For sure. Yeah, that was like most of my questions and stuff like that. But really, really cool to talk to you. You know, being Irish, it's like really sick to see like, you know, another really dope band, you know, rise in the ranks.
Cheers,
I'm not
man.
really a fan of like the Cranberries or anything like
Big
that.
time,
but,
big time.
yeah.
Are you a fan of the Celtics?
Yes, yep.
Up
Well,
the
I mean, I grew up in
Celtics.
Boston, so have to be.
Up the Celtics. Good man yourself.
You like the Celtics or
Ah, yeah, of course I
you
do.
don't?
Of course I do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. And you grew up in Dublin, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I guess like what was that experience like? Cause like obviously like me like my dad's Irish, you know, real Catholic guy. You know, grew up in Boston. There's the Irish community, but obviously it's gonna be different. I've actually never been to Ireland, so like I guess growing up, how has that impacted the way you make music and kind of, or not. Let's not talk about songwriting, but I guess like just like yeah, who
I
you
think,
are as a
well,
person.
I think it impacted us, myself personally, massively in the sense that it's largely, you know, sort of based around storytelling. The words have always been such an integral part of Irish culture. The Irish response to kind of oppression and losing their language, I think, was to find their own kind of form of expression through another's language. I think that gave birth to a really sort of a characterful way of expression, national kind of way of expression, you know, and that would have influenced the way that I write, but also the fact that I write, I think, you know.
For sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. All right. That was my actual last question. But yeah. No. Stoked for you guys to come to America because I wasn't gonna make it back in time for this, but I'll probably try to catch you at like the Portland show. But really stoked to go see you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sound. Well, I still can't see you moving, but take it easy, right?
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sound. Look after yourself.
All right. Right now.
Bye-bye.
Because you made it.
Yeah. So sick.
You happy?
Yeah. This is awesome.
That was it. Thank you so much.